Oftentimes when I do coatings for my customers, these are daily drivers, real world durability tests to share with you guys. Customers are not babying these. They're not maintaining it the way a detailer would. So this is a great way to share with you guys how these coatings look in the real world. I don't know if this coating is still looking good. You know, we're almost 2 years in and I can see we have some issues. So let's go ahead, do a quick walk around and share with you guys an update on how this coating is performing over a year and a half later. So it's been a year since we last saw this vehicle, and the vehicle is parked outside. We've had a heavy pollen season this past spring, and I can see that it has taken a toll on the ceramic coating. They do have a lot of hydrophobics, but if we don't clean the vehicle, remove dirt, pollen from it, you end up with a lot of pollen water spots on the vehicle. We also have a lot of brake dust and film on our wheels, and even though they're coated, that dirt, pollen, and film can slowly start to degrade the integrity of your ceramic coating. Maintenance can be easier with a ceramic coating, but they do require maintenance to get the most out of it. Because we have a lot of film and dirt on there, this could be a problem for us. One of the most popular services that gets requested by my customers is number one, interiors, and number two, ceramic coatings. Ceramic coatings are widely popular, but I feel like there is a huge lack of education when it comes to what a coating really is and how to maintain it to get the most out of it. Now, I try to do that here on my channel. My channel is all about educating people on how to use products and how to get the most out of them. If you're wanting to know more about ceramic coatings and some of the myths and maybe facts about them, I'm going to put the link to a really popular video down below that I did a few years back. But we originally saw this vehicle back in December of 2024 where we applied the McKees 37, their 5-year graphene ceramic coating. We also applied on our wheels the McKees 37, their graphene wheel coating. We've done one update on this ceramic. Back in June of 2025, we shared with you guys an update on how our coating was performing and addressed any issues that we had with it, made sure the coating was going strong for the customer. What I want to share with you guys is a big issue that I see with a lot of my customers is, one, they're forgetting to bring their vehicle in for maintenance washes. We are 6 months past what I would recommend. I recommend every 6 months bringing it in, so that way if we do have water spots, if we do have issues, I can address them more easily, less aggressively on a shorter interim versus letting them go a year, because sometimes if those mineral deposits are there for a while, they start to etch, and then you either have to use a really strong acid to remove them or possibly polish them off, and polishing removes your coating. So we're 6 months past what I would recommend. So hopefully we're not going to have too big of an issue that we can't address it. But if we do, I'm going to share with you guys how I, as a professional detailer, would approach fixing that issue. We do have a lot of film on this vehicle. So to go after the dirt before we touch the paint, we want something a little bit on the higher pH. So you can use something like Kushemi Actifoam, pH of 9.5. We could use something like Built Hamber Touchless. Or we could even use CarPro Reset. All of these are coating safe. They're going to do a great job at reducing the level of dirt, so that way when we do come in to do our contact wash, less chance of us scratching or marring the surface. We're going to do our foaming pre-soak, rinse, then do a contact wash with a acid-based soap. We could use our Detailco low pH again, or we could use something like CarPro Descale or even Yum Reset. This is kind of like step 1, step 2 that I would do on a ceramic coating maintenance wash, but because it's been a year, I'm assuming that we're gonna need to do a more intensive water spot treatment. So for that, we have a few options. Shine Supply Spot Rinse, normally one of my go-tos when it's not too bad, but it's a little bit on the more, it's been a while. Or we could use something like IGL Delete or CarPro Spotless, again, more moderate to severe. First, we're gonna go ahead, get her foamed on, rinse, do a contact wash. We're also going to use our water spot remover on our wheels just to see maybe they're still there, don't know. So those are the chemicals that we're going to attempt to use. You don't have to use, all of them. You don't have to use any specific brand. I use a variety here. I use what works. This isn't about supporting brands. This is literally in this moment using what works. So you can see our roof, our hood, all of our kind of flat surfaces that get hit with a lot of water spots.
It's not dead. It is clogged. We do have irregular water beads that we definitely need to do a good water spot treatment.
So first up, we're going to clean our tires and wheels and see if our wheel coating is still there. Now, using stronger chemicals might weaken it, but I need something a little stronger to go after all the brake dust and film.
If this coating is still on these wheels after a year and a half, I doubt it. I'm very skeptical of wheel coatings. Customers don't ask for them a ton, but I don't offer them a ton because I've never really seen them last beyond 6 months for it to be worth the $200 or $100 that I might charge. We're using stronger chemicals to try to, go after the dirt because it is pretty heavily on there. Let's give this a good rinse. All right, we're gonna do water spot treatment on these wheels just to see. Maybe bring them back because it doesn't look like there's anything on it. Whoa, okay. That looks a ton better. It's sheeting. Guys, we just did a really good water spot treatment on our wheel coating, and we were able to, I don't want to say bring it back, but it's still there. We declogged it, and that's what we got to do on our paint. So we're going to do a water spot treatment on all of our wheels, and then when we go to dry them, we're going to put like a ceramic sealant on them just to kind of refresh the coating. And who knows, we can extend the life of this coating, but it is still there, guys. He ain't gone. Signs of life, and I'm loving it. That's actually pretty dang good. A year and a half and that level of dirt. Who knows how long it sat on there. All right, we're gonna let that sit as long as possible, and then we will give it a rinse. So it's been about 2 minutes.
Carpo Reset is going to help remove any sort of kind of short-term temporary toppers should maybe the customer have gone through the automatic car wash and used the waxes. It's going to help us see the true state of our coating hydrophobics. By removing some of the film, you can see that our hydrophobics are slightly improved, but we do have a heavy line of demarcation on the lower parts of the panel where film has weakened it. Now the coating is still there. It's still repelling dirt easily. You can see all of our road boogers are coming off with high pressure water only. So that's good. Again, the coating is doing its job, making maintenance easier. I don't have to scrub as aggressively to remove all of that dirt. However, our hydrophobics, they don't look very good right now. They're irregular, they are loose, and water is sticking more to the panel versus kind of beating off. So for me, I would say that we're close to that point where personally, I would say we probably need to polish and recoat. Clearly, something is going on with lack of maintenance that is affecting this coating. This is the coating that I most frequently apply here at my shop, and I've applied it to several dozens of vehicles over the years. Normally, I see 2.5 to 3 years on a garage-kept vehicle that's well maintained. So the fact that this is stored outside and not well maintained, this isn't shocking to me, but it's not necessarily something that I am loving to see. But you'll clearly get different results on a vehicle that is garage kept and well maintained versus a vehicle that is stored outside, maybe taken through the automatic car wash, or not frequently maintained. So step 1 of doing our ceramic coating assessment test was doing our foaming pre-soak. Step 2 was doing a contact wash. If after doing those first 2 things, you're still seeing struggling hydrophobics, maybe you've got shading and it's slow shading, or maybe you don't see your beading, that's where we move on to step 3, and that's where we do a more intensive water spot treatment. Now, I can see that even just our typical coating maintenance products have degraded this coating because it's in an already weakened state. Now, what we do next might weaken it even further, but it's essential that we do this before we move on to our next step, which is topping it. So when it comes to water spot removers, which is what we're applying now, not all of them are going to be created equally. Some are more mild that I would classify for light maintenance. Others are more aggressive, like this one, for more etched in water spots, which is what I was seeing. And sometimes when you use those stronger water spot removers, they can weaken your protection if it's already in a weakened state. Now we're using the same water spot remover that we used at the 6-month treatment, and you can see from 6 months to now a year and a half, that same water spot remover has actually weakened our ceramic coating. I think I might have actually used too aggressive of a water spot remover in this moment. It worked to remove the water spots, but it weakened the hydrophobic top layer.
So as a professional detailer, when a customer says, I want a 5-year ceramic coating, do I warranty that work? No, I do not. Because there's always variables like this, where the customer, and this isn't me judging or criticizing. I get it, life gets busy, but if the customer doesn't bring it in for a ceramic coating maintenance wash where I can address any issues and top it for them, and if they're not maintaining it the way I recommend, we know we're going to have issues. So I always tell customers, if we put a 4-year coating on there and it lasts 2.5 years, that's kind of what I'm expecting. But that also is assuming that they're going to bring it in for maintenance. They're going to use the products that I recommend, and I always give customers instructions and product recommendations when they pick up their coated vehicle to try to give them the best chance possible of the coating lasting. This is kind of typical of what I'm seeing most of my customers, 1.5 to 2 years. So we will be asking the customer how they maintain it, just to get some feedback for you guys. But my job isn't to correct the coating. My job is just to protect the vehicle.
So for our driver's side, we're going to try a different water spot remover to see if maybe it will remove the water spots but not be as aggressive on our weakened ceramic coating.
We use a little bit of a less aggressive water spot remover. Do we get a little bit less aggressive reaction? So we had used Underdog WST on the passenger side of the vehicle, and we used CarPro Spotless on the right. And you can see where I do think we removed more of the water spots here, where we still have kind of like this jagged equivalent kind of splotchiness going on our lower panels. On our roof, I do think the CarPro Spotless wasn't as aggressive on our roof. So Underdog WSP definitely stronger and probably a little bit more volatile on this coating. The only real way to remove a coating is to abrade it off, polish it off, or remove paint. So the base is still there.
The last step of our ceramic coating maintenance wash before we apply any sort of toppers to this is to do a chemical decon. Now we're not going to use a clay towel. We don't need it at this point. The paint is not gritty, but this is just going to help break any chemical bond that rail dust or iron deposits have on the paint to help prevent rust in the long haul. Now even though I'm not loving what I'm seeing hydrophobic wise, I can say the coating is not gone, but the hydrophobic top layer, which is what most people look for and benefit from, has failed. So we need to figure out if we're going to top it or if we're going to polish off and recoat.
Alright, so we are done with our wash. We did a foaming pre-soak, we did a acid-based soap just to try to go after any mild water spots. Did help bring back a little bit of our coating's hydrophobic characteristics, but I could see that we did have some clogging, so we did a more intensive or aggressive water spot treatment. And unfortunately, because the coating was kind of, I think, already weakened, it just kind of weakened it even further, which sometimes is the case. So now, rather than me being the one to determine what course of action we do, this isn't my vehicle, I'm going to call the customer and just let them know, hey, we probably need to recoat.
So we just got off the phone with the customer, and this is always the point in the video where I struggle with summarizing what I'm trying to get across to you guys. I have so much in my brain that I want to share with you guys, but I want to do it in as quick and a concise way as possible. The point of this video is to try to help those of you that maybe you've had a coating on your vehicle a year and a half, 2 years, maybe even 3 years. It's starting to struggle and you don't know, one, how did we get here? How do we avoid getting here in the future? And two, how do we fix it? Okay. And oftentimes there's so many variables into ceramic coating's durability that it's hard to say. With this customer, I think the biggest issue was that he went all winter without washing it. And then when he did wash it in the spring, it was a non-touch automatic car wash. He didn't actually have contact on the paint to remove the film, salt, dirt, etc. And coatings are chemically resistant, but they're not chemical proof. And if that dirt and film sits on there for an extended period of time without any sort of contact, it can weaken your hydrophobics. And I think that's why we're seeing what we saw on our lower panels on a roof trunk and hood. So that answers why this happened. As far as how to avoid it moving forward, that's where I do recommend having your vehicle maintained more frequently. That doesn't mean weekly, that doesn't mean daily, but that does mean doing a good contact wash on it every few weeks, at least every 3 weeks or so, and using a ceramic detailer to refresh the hydrophobics. And then as far as for this customer, bringing it in every 6 months more frequently versus a year, so that way we can address any sort of issues with a less aggressive chemical versus having to be more aggressive because we've had a bigger lapse in between maintenance washes. Because this customer is hoping to bring it every 6 months, we're just going to put a sealant on top versus, let's say, if he was going a year, I would say let's put a ceramic spray coating on. That way we're going to have more durability, more chemical resistance with a product like that. So at least that's how we are planning on managing it moving forward. More frequent maintenance washes, using ceramic detailers as drying aids, bringing it in every 6 months so that way I can address any issues, do a water spot treatment. And then in the fall, we're going to reassess. So we'll try to bring you guys back in. Hopefully we'll have the videos all edited before then and out for you guys. But when we see this vehicle back in 6 months, we'll let you guys know how the vehicle is going, what the customer chooses to do, whether that's, apply a ceramic spray coating to extend it another year or possibly polish and recoat. It's up to him to decide. I think either way, we're going to make sure that this vehicle is clean, protected, and easier to maintain for this customer moving forward. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit all over the place, and this series has been a long-winded one showing you guys how we applied the coating, how we maintain the coating at 6-month interval, and that's what I would recommend. We do every 6 months to keep it going strong. And then now that we are having some issues, how we assess and how we troubleshoot those issues and resolve them for the customer moving forward. If you guys enjoy videos like this, make sure you subscribe and follow. This channel is all about education, trying to provide you guys with the best information so that way you can get the best results.
So to top our ceramic coating to replenish the hydrophobic properties, we're going to use Oberk Lotus Coat. This can last anywhere from 4 to 12 months based on how you maintain the vehicle. It's super easy to apply, but actually a really durable product. Simply work it evenly into the paint, then take a dry second towel, give it a light touch, and let's see what our hydrophobics look like now.
That is way better than what we had before.
When the customer came to pick up his vehicle, we did have a good conversation about how I recommend maintaining the vehicle moving forward. He does need to have some sort of contact on the paint at least every 3 to 4 weeks to remove film, to prevent water spots from accumulating, and to apply some sort of ceramic detailer to refresh the hydrophobics. It will make drying easier and safer and keep the hydrophobics performing the way they should. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this series where we take a closer look at ceramic coatings, how to maintain them, and how to get the most out of your investment.
But give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and this series. But thanks guys for watching. We'll see you in the next detail. Just kidding.